Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in the Reel. Today I'm going to be covering the new Disney Plus reboot movie, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Does this animation live-action hybrid hit all of the right nostalgia notes, or is it just another lazy Alvin and the Chipmunks affair? Let's talk about it. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is directed by Akiva Schaffer and written by Dan Greger and Doug Mand. It stars Andy Samberg, John Mulaney, Kiki Lane, J.K. Simmons, Will Arnett, Keegan-Michael Key, Dennis Haysbert, and Eric Bana. 30 years after their popular television show ended, Chipmunks Chip 'n Dale live very different lives. When a cast member from the original series mysteriously disappears, the pair must reunite to save their friend. When I first heard that there was going to be a film reboot of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, you couldn't blame me for immediately writing it off. How many times have we seen a beloved children's show from our past be milked for all of its worth and turned into a live-action animated hybrid disaster? From the Smurfs to Yogi Bear, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Tom and Jerry. These movies are a dime a dozen and always end up making cash because kids want to see these characters up on the big screen and adults are suckers for trying to relive the good old days. But these films, 99.9% of the time, end up being just plain awful and cringeworthy. So I was expecting Chip 'n Dale to be no different. And then the trailer came out, and all of a sudden my expectations opened up to the possibility of this having the potential to be something really special and unique. Instead of just throwing these characters into the real world without any explanation, the filmmakers seemed to be creating a whole meta world, where animated characters were actors in their own TV shows, and where toons got surgeries to augment themselves from 2D to CGI. The whole setup seemed extremely ingenious. So I said to myself going into the movie that this was either going to be really, really bad, or it was going to be awesome. There was no possibility of it being somewhere in between. And I am so pleased to report that Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is indeed awesome. The film follows an estranged Chip 'n Dale, who were reunited years after their show was canceled by their old castmate on Rescue Rangers, Monterey Jack. But things go awry when Jack goes missing and the two chipmunks are brought into questioning, as they were the last ones to see their old friend. The police tip our heroes off to an illegal bootlegging ring where toon stars from years past are being kidnapped, trafficked, and surgically altered to star in knockoff versions of classic animated movies. So Chip 'n Dale reunite and, along with a fellow rookie cop, set out to find their friend and take down this insidious crime ring. The movie is directed by Akiva Schaffer, longtime SNL writer and the man behind the comedies Hot Rod and pop star Never Stop, Never Stopping, in which Andy Samberg also starred. So that will give you a good idea of what kind of humor you are going to be getting from Chip 'n Dale. It's very tongue-in-cheek, silly, and oh so aware of itself in the best way possible. Add in the meta comedy and entertainment industry in-jokes, and you pretty much have solid laughs throughout the entire movie. It also helps that we have a slew of very funny performers in this ensemble voice cast, anchored by a perfectly cast Samberg and John Mulaney, who really bring these two chipmunks to life. I also should mention that there is an abundance of adult humor in this film, as one would expect from the talent involved, that is certainly racy at times, but I think most of it will go over kids' heads. What I adore so much about Rescue Rangers is how self-aware it is in every sense of the term. It obviously is taking a lot of inspiration from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but instead of just blatantly copying it, the film wears its inspiration on its sleeve. It was also brought to life by filmmakers who clearly have a deep love and admiration for the source material, but are also not afraid to put their own unique twist on it as well. Obviously. And in a time when movies and TV series are just being churned out to take advantage of audiences yearning for nostalgia, Chip 'n Dale feels like it was made to celebrate the era, the animation medium, and the entertainment industry, but also make fun of it all in a lighthearted way. As of writing this review, I have already watched Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers twice, and I'm planning on revisiting it again very soon. Why, you ask? First off, the world building. There is something so intoxicating about this alternate version of a hard-boiled Hollywood filled to the brim with tunes from the past and present that this animation junkie could not get enough of. Then there are the copious amounts of Easter eggs and cameos that will certainly have hundreds of YouTube videos dedicated to uncovering. And at first, I was worried that this was going to be problematic for the movie, just as it was with Space Jam: A New Legacy, which shamelessly shoehorned in all of these characters for no other reason but to take advantage of the IP craze. Luckily, in this flick, there is a purpose for all of these cameos. They have a place in this world, and many of them lead to some very ingenious humor. We were asked by Disney not to give away any cameos from the movie that were not in the trailer, so I will just say this. An ugly version of an adored blue character who has a need for speed had me in stitches. Suffice to say that Chip 'n Dale will end up being one of the most rewatchable movies of the year, at least for me. If I have any qualms with Rescue Rangers, it's that the concept of the mystery is pretty brilliant, but I found the execution to be lacking. It starts off on a high note, with a trip down an alleyway called Main Street, a clear ode to LA's seedy Santee Alley, where tunes inconspicuously gather to sell goods as a front for the trading of contraband. It then starts to lose steam from there, however, slowly shaking its noir vibes for a more action blockbuster approach. And the story ends up devolving into some very familiar tropes, with a predictable twist and a forced message. I also must say that although actress Kiki Layne does give it her all as the sole live-action lead, I found her to be more of a distraction than integral to the overall vision of the film. I would have much preferred for the humans to be relegated to the background rather than taking away from our animated characters' spotlight. But really, that's just me being nitpicky. To say I was pleasantly surprised by Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is an understatement. This is such an imaginative and loving ode to not just a slightly obscure Disney cartoon from the 90s, but to the medium of animation as a whole. I definitely hope this movie does gangbusters on the streaming platform, because I am already dying for a sequel. So I will be giving Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 4 zippers out of 5. A nostalgia-filled meta head trip that will be sure to make animation lovers rejoice. Though the mystery at its core leaves much to be desired, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is an ingenious, hilarious, and fun-filled movie for the whole family to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel. What are your thoughts on this film? Did you love it as much as I did? Or do you think it's more in line with other live-action animated hybrids that I mentioned before? And what other Disney tunes would you like to see be adapted to the screen? Sound off in the comment section down below. And until next time, my friends, take care.